She's there in another setting, with another name in her favorites list, with different pictures in her camera roll. She posts stories with pre-written captions, impactful quotes, songs that talk about new beginnings. And maybe those looking from the outside think, she has moved on. But you know, and deep down she does too. No matter how much the faces have changed, no matter how much her daily life has been reshaped, what she feels now doesn't even come close to what she felt when she was with you. And this absence of real emotion, this lack of sparkle in what should be love, reveals more than any words. She still hasn't gotten over you. It's tough to admit, right? Especially when we try to move on with someone new. When we seek in the presence of another person the silence that only true longing can create, she is living a love she doesn't feel, because her heart is still trapped in the memory of a love that was, and still is, genuine. Have you ever been through this? Have you ever tried to fit a new someone into a space that was still occupied? Because that's exactly what's happening right now. She accepted another hug, yes, but with her body, not her soul. The hug is lukewarm. It doesn't send chills down her spine. It doesn't provide comfort. It's more of a rehearsed gesture than a spontaneous refuge. She leans on his shoulder, but she thinks about how yours used to feel, about how your breathing slowed hers down, about how your silence was comforting, while the current one only highlights how everything now feels forced. Her name may be associated with another story in the present, but emotionally she lives in an eternal return to the past. She compares. Silently, of course, because it would be too cruel to confess. But she compares. The way he looks at her, his touch, the way you listened. The intensity, the devotion, the lightness that only existed with you. And when she tries to feel what she once felt for you, her heart races. Because true love is irreplaceable. It's not recyclable. It's not something that can be easily reproduced. When the connection runs deep, when the soul truly intertwines with another, no new encounter can erase it. At best, it distracts. At most, it masks. But the pain remains, camouflaged in fake smiles, in emotionless kisses, in conversations that only emphasize the absence of what she once had with you. You might think she's forgotten you, but don't be fooled. There are nights when she cries without knowing why. There are songs that still bring your face to her mind. There are places she avoids, gifts she has hidden away. There are things she hasn't been able to throw out. And there are others that she tries to force, thinking that by repeating them, maybe it will work. She repeats gestures she used to do with you. She tries to recreate rituals, mimics words, sounds, habits, as if trying to do the same with another body could bring back the feelings. But it doesn't come back, because you're not just a memory. You're a living scar. You are an absence that still screams. And the worst part is that sometimes she doesn't even understand why this new relationship feels so empty. Why, even with everything just right, something is always out of place. What's missing isn't affection, nor attention, it's truth. The other person may try their best. They can be present, kind, admirable, but she can't open herself up, because her heart is still yours. It still beats your name. It still tries in vain to revive what it lived with you. And maybe you on the other side think, if she still loves me, why doesn't she come back? Maybe she feels guilty. Maybe she thinks it's too late. Maybe she fears you no longer feel the same. Or maybe she is trying to convince herself that the decision to move on was the right one, even if everything inside her screams the opposite. It's hard to live a love that you don't feel. It's agonizing to be with someone and still feel lonely, smiling on the outside while screaming on the inside, pretending there's reciprocity when all you want is an impossible return. She is trapped in this invisible prison, and what's crueler, no one notices, because she learned to disguise it, to pose for pictures, to laugh, but only she knows the emptiness that consumes her. Her mind relives moments with you as if they were recent. She remembers your voice, your laughter, your way of caring, the long conversations, the comfortable silences. She remembers your eyes looking into hers, and how you saw her like no one else could, with depth, with truth, with love. And when she looks at herself today, in this new relationship, the feeling is that she's in a play, playing a character who smiles but is exhausted, Because really loving someone once is intense, but pretending to love after that is a burden. What hurts even more is realizing that all this is silent. To others, she seems fine. She seems happy. She seems loved. But only those who have experienced this kind of emptiness know no appearance fills a real absence. She even tries to convince herself that this is just a phase. That time will help. That eventually feelings for this new someone will arise. But time doesn't heal what doesn't want to be forgotten. And her heart doesn't want to forget you. She isn't with someone else because she has moved on. She's with someone else because she couldn't wait. Because she felt alone. Because she thought you wouldn't come back. Because she wanted to prove she was strong. But all of this was built on a misunderstanding, on an escape, on an impulse. Yes, she is in another relationship, but her heart stayed with your story, stuck in everything you both experienced, in everything that could have been. Maybe she'll never say this out loud. Maybe she'll never admit it even to herself. But the truth lies in the details, in the way she still reacts when she hears your name, in how she avoids talking about you. Or on the contrary, how she talks too much at trying to display an indifference she doesn't really feel. She still hopes, even if unconsciously, that one day you'll reappear, that you'll send a message, that you'll say you miss her too, that you'll confess you haven't been able to move on completely. Because deep down, she still believes that between the two of you, the feeling was different. It was real. And it was. It's not just about missing someone, it's about love. The kind that doesn't fade with new beginnings, that doesn't dissolve in rushed kisses, that doesn't disappear just because someone else came into the picture. True love has deep roots. Even when the surface seems clean, what's buried remains there, intact, waiting. You may not see her anymore. You may have stopped following her steps. But somehow she still carries you within her, in her lost gaze, in her restrained smile, in the lack of sparkle that only you knew how to ignite. And the greatest irony of all this? She smiles, but she doesn't feel. She lives, but she is empty. She loves, but not the right person, because deep down, you are still her true love. And until she faces this with courage, she will keep dragging herself through lukewarm relationships. She will keep trying to find in others what she only found in you. She will keep sabotaging herself, hurting herself, and above all, losing herself. The love she knows today has no name. It has substitution. It has attempts. It has rehearsals. But it has no truth. And this, no matter how much she tries to mask it, hurts. Because real love, true love, the kind that sends chills down your spine, that silences the soul, that makes the world stop for a few seconds, she only experienced once. And it was with you. The rest is just background. It's an escape. It's a lie disguised as routine. She might even stay with him. She might even get married, have kids, build a life. But love, real love, the love she had left with you. And maybe, just maybe, it's still waiting to be rescued. Isn't it strange? How someone can be with another person and still feel so alone. How someone can lie next to another body and still dream of a different name. How is it possible for two lips to touch without any soul being present? She doesn't tell anyone, but sometimes she wakes up in the middle of the night missing you. It's not the physical absence. She's learned to ignore that. It's the absence of what you built together, of what existed between the words, between the glances, between the silent held hands. Do you know why? Because what you had wasn't just presence. It was connection. And true connection isn't something you find every day. She knows that now. When she's with someone who does everything right, yet still doesn't spark anything beyond the obligation of being there. When the plans seem nice but don't evoke any emotion. When the touch soothes on the outside but doesn't fill anything on the inside. And so she asks herself silently, why can't I feel the same? The answer lies in every memory she tries to erase, in every song she skips in the playlist, in every perfume that makes her freeze in the middle of the street, in every time she feels alone, even surrounded by people. It's in every attempt to replace you, now frustrated, because replacing isn't forgetting. Replacing is hiding what still hurts. It's pretending the pain has gone when in truth it's only shifted places. Do you know what hurts the most? She wants to feel again what she felt with you. She wants to be moved, to give herself completely, to lose her breath, like before. But she can't. And the more she tries, the more she realizes how the current relationship is an empty theater, with recycled lines and mimicked gestures. She learned to smile without her soul, to say "I love you" without any truth, to live on autopilot, pretending everything is fine. And this emotional numbness is the price she pays for having tried to force herself to forget you. You don't leave her. You left a mark on everything. In the little quirks she still carries, in the inside jokes that no one else understands, in the way she falls silent when she wants to scream. In every moment she holds back tears because she can't feel your absence anymore. But she does feel. She feels much more than she shows. And maybe she'll never say it out loud, but the truth is she is still waiting for you, not in a romantic, idealized way like in the movies, but in a nearly unconscious, visceral way. She's waiting for a sign, for a message, for a word, for anything that says, "I'm still here too." In the meantime, she gets lost in frustrated attempts to convince herself that she has moved on. She buys gifts that don't move her. She goes to places that used to be yours, trying to erase the traces. She smiles in photos, but deletes the ones with you, because they hurt too much. And still, it doesn't go away. The absence remains, silent, unyielding. She tries to distract herself with new goals, new habits, new people, but deep down, everything seems too superficial. The love you shared was deep, intense, real. The kind of love that unveils the soul, that transforms, that teaches, that leaves a mark. And she knows what she lives today is just a shadow of what she had with you. It's like listening to music without sound, like watching a sunset without color, like feeling a hug without warmth. Everything is presence without essence. You were and still are the outlier, the exception, the unlikely that worked, the story she couldn't rewrite, because some stories simply don't allow substitutes, and yours is one of them. That's why she doesn't feel anything real anymore, because her heart has learned to recognize the difference between an "I love you" said on impulse and one that comes from the soul. It has learned to distinguish when it's desire and when it's connection. It has understood that true love isn't built on the fear of being alone, but on the courage to give oneself fully. And she can't give herself fully anymore. Not like before. Not like she did with you. Time has passed. The photos have been deleted. The messages erased. But what you experienced together is etched inside her. It's a memory that burns. It's a reminder that lingers. It's a love that endures even when she swears it's over. She's in another relationship, but every detail of this new story only reinforces how much she is still yours inside. Because what binds her isn't the past, it's the truth she lived with you, a truth she hasn't found with anyone else, and maybe she never will. She hasn't moved on because she doesn't want to forget what was real, because deep down, what you shared was so unique, so extraordinary, that to erase it would be to erase a part of who she is. You were the mirror in which she saw herself most clearly, the voice that understood her the best, the embrace that welcomed her the most. You were home, and everything that came after is just a temporary shelter. She might try to build a new life, forge new feelings, draw new plans, but her heart still resides in your story, and it will continue to reside there until she finds the courage to look inward and admit, "I still love you." Maybe you feel it too. Maybe you're reading this right now with a heavy heart, reliving every moment. Perhaps deep down you are also hoping she comes back, that she acknowledges it, that she chooses you, or maybe you both continue in silence, holding on to a love that screams, locking away a feeling that longs to be lived again, pretending that everything is fine, when nothing makes sense without the other. She is living a love she doesn't feel. You are feeling a love that isn't being lived. And between these two extremes lies a beautiful, real, intense story, one that neither of you has been able to leave behind. Maybe there is still time, or maybe there's only the certainty that amidst everything that was lived, what existed between you two was true love. And true love never dies, it just waits. She's there, living next to someone, but her heart is in another time, another place, another name, pretending to feel what no longer beats, smiling on the outside while her soul still weeps inside. And you, even from a distance, still occupy the most sensitive space within her. It's a kind of love that hasn't ended. It's just been silenced. Deep down, she still hopes, even if she won't admit it, that somehow you'll notice, that you'll understand that behind the new story, there's a heart still ajar, suspended between what was and what could still be. If you made it this far and felt that this story touched you, maybe it's talking about you too, about a love that hasn't been overcome, about someone you still feel even though life has moved on. And if that's the case, I ask you, is it really worth living half a life, pretending that everything is fine when what screams inside you is the absence of the one who truly made your heart beat differently? Now, I want to invite you to be part of this conversation. Comment down below. Have you ever experienced a love that didn't fade away? Have you tried to replace someone who deep down never left you? Give this video a like if it touched you. That helps this content reach those who also need to hear this today. And if you feel that this story has more to say, subscribe to the channel now. Here we transform feelings into deep reflections, because sometimes all we really need is to hear what no one else had the courage to say. Until the next video. And remember, true love doesn't disappear, it just goes quiet, waiting to be lived again.